Hello,
Hey
Facebook,
y'all.
Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. How are you doing today? No,
Hi,
you cannot see me. I guess this is a Halloween thing, so I'm gonna go apparently right now.
Okay.
Welcome into the discussion. Today is our Halloween special. So we're
Yes.
just gonna talk a little bit, and we're gonna at the end talk about a little bit of voting. But right now, we're just gonna keep it light and hang out, talk about what everybody's doing, any kind of
Especially
hello.
anything of that sort. So you guys, I am Sean. Of course, I am the peer outreach specialist here with Rain and with Crew. So I picked my costume today because I'm racing over to the voting polls.
Yeah.
That was my whole motto today. I'm racing to the poll right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to just, take that time out. Just a little bit of time right now, not even to just really get into the whole voting thing, but just to let you guys know that it's important to vote. And it's also important to get tested and to know your status. Okay?
Okay.
You need any
You must.
information about
You
getting
must.
free HIV
Okay.
Hep C testing, please inbox one of us. We are available to do free HIV and Hep C testing Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. On Wednesdays, we have full panel testing, which means you can get tested for STI, STDs, and HIV. And you'll get your
All of the
results
things.
in 2 to 3 to 5 days, maybe a business day. So definitely, stay tuned in for that type of information. And we definitely have that for you. So tune in to anybody, call, email us. We're here.
Hey y'all, I'm Bryce. I'm Little Red Riding Hood. Instead of bringing
Ooh.
biscuits to your mother, bitch, I'm bringing the motherfucking ballots in my little basket. We gonna go
So,
march to the polls. Had to stop the little fox on the way. Had to look whoop his little ass, little wolf, whatever. But make sure you go vote because ain't nothing scarier than another 4 years of motherfucking Trump.
true.
Nice, nice.
Okay.
Jesse.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jesse. I am the research coordinator at RAIN. We are currently enrolling in 5 studies, one for folks who are not on PrEP, one for folks who are on PrEP, and 3 for folks who are living with HIV.
Mm.
It is something for everyone. I
A
got
lot of free money.
yes, a lot of money. So reach out anytime. I got the memo to dress up and forgot or just didn't. So I'm a personal trainer. I'm in gym gear. Let's call it a day. Happy Halloween.
Hey.
You're
Bye.
a soccer player.
I'm a soccer player. I'm a soccer daddy.
Yes,
Yeah.
soccer dad. Soccer daddy.
My name is Patrice. I am the PrEP case manager. I help people get onto PrEP who may not have insurance or who may not be able to access it in any other way. I am a clown, even though you cannot see me, and I'm a clown because that's how I feel about people who don't vote. You're a clown. That part.
You know, she said what she said and she meant it.
Lord. It's really
I definitely
Halloween, y'all. It's crazy. I mean, when I was a child, I was a ninja for like 4 Halloweens back to back. I always wanted to be a ninja.
Really?
I did.
Like,
I wanted to be a ninja.
Me growing up, I never really got to really celebrate Halloween. Like we was always at church. We call it I forgot the name of it. They had a name for it that we used to go to church and just we didn't do the trick or treating or nothing, but we just went to church and kind of just like had church and got candy.
Mm-hmm.
So you
And
still
then
did
when
the
I got-
candy thing, but
Huh?
you still did the candy thing, but you didn't do like the
They
Halloween.
gave out candy, but it was no like costumes or none of that. It was just you was in church and you was just there.
Wine and candy.
The blood of Jesus. Hey, amen.
Oh, that is funny.
But even with that though, even with you saying that, it just no shade. Like growing up, I was like, okay, wait. It kind of didn't make sense to me. So now that I had to grow up early. I had to grow up at the age of 15. So when I had the opportunity to do what I wanted to do on my own, Halloween was for me. It was like that was my time of the year for me to be whoever I wanted to be and do whatever I wanted to do. So baby, yes, I've gotten a drag before Halloween. I will
Yes.
never do it again. It is very uncomfortable to walk in heels all night. I give it up to you females.
It is.
My trans girls that wear heels. whomever decides to wear heels. I applaud to you. I can't do it. That's too much.
Mm-hmm.
It is uncomfortable.
I'm not wearing no heels. I wear size 13 and I'm flat-footed. Y'all gonna get a good Chelsea boot from me. That's it.
No shade.
They gonna get a good flat from me too, Bryce.
What about you? Did you get a chance to like celebrate growing up, or?
I always just wanted to put on a wig, but my favorite costume was the Black Dahlia. Do you know that story?
Yes.
The girl who was like cut like mouth to ear. I dressed up as her because she had like a fabulous wig, and then I just like painted the cut and wore a sexy little black cocktail dress.
Nice.
Yeah, I think
I didn't do that growing up at all.
You didn't?
There's no Halloween. We didn't do holidays at all. So it was unfortunate, but as an adult, I take full advantage of it. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. You get to dress up and be somebody else. Why not?
I remember there used to be kids who came to school and they used to be like, "Oh, why you celebrating that? That's the devil's birthday." And I was like, "Girl, I think
that's whose birthday?
The devil's birthday or something like that." And I was like, "Girl, when the devil was here, I don't think there was any calendar. So how we know what his birthday is?"
The same reason they know Jesus' birthday is in December.
Wow.
Do we have any?
It's the truth. What did you say, Jesse?
Do we have any friends on here? There's Regina.
Hey, Regina.
Yeah, there's Regina. Hey, girl. Hey.
Happy early Halloween.
Hey, show. One of my nephews is on. Yeah.
What's going on?
No, not the tongue.
So like,
all right. So we did start out talking about Halloween and a little bit of voting. We do want to seriously import the importance of voting. It is very important. If you do not do it, you have programs in your neighborhood that you cannot get. Right now, they have a bond for subsidy housing or low-income housing that you vote on when you go vote. There's a lot of people that gave their lives at Hearts and Souls so that we don't vote. So I'm gonna need y'all to get off your lazy ass and fucking vote. I don't care who you vote for. Doesn't really matter to me. Just so that you exercise your civic duty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's that grin for, Jesse?
I think that on this platform, like, yeah, we don't care who you vote for, but I just couldn't not cringe.
For what?
Having him as a president for another 4 years.
Yeah.
Look, on some real shit, if that motherfucker gets back in office another 4 fucking years, I'm leaving the U.S.
I think you should just properly educate yourself on the candidates. You know what I mean? Just go do your own research and vote tell us that was right for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people have different beliefs because of their religion or different beliefs because of their backgrounds, how they were raised, or, ethnicities. All that plays a different part in that. So,
yes,
we have to be mindful of those things as well, but just take heed to what you're voting for and who you're voting for, and realize what's coming after the fact of you voting. You know what I mean? And realize that your voice needs to be heard. Don't think just because, I know I hear a lot of people in my Black community, and y'all know I'm going to keep it a stack with you. I'm going to keep it real. In the Black community, I'm not voting. It ain't going to matter. My voice ain't going to be heard. It's rigged anyway. So why should I? Do you see what? The same reason y'all was talking drunk them last 4 years and saying the same thing is the reason why he ended up in the chair, the reason why he's there now.
We had the lowest percentage of Black voters ever in 2016.
It was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, only 35% of the country voted, period.
Yeah, Patrice, I saw that the early voting, like the first 3 days, was a bigger turnout than any election in the past.
Yeah, and that's really exciting because people are fed up. And, you know, it's good to see people wanting to, that are like, yeah, no, I don't want to go through this again, you know, taking notice of what's really happening. There are children in cages.
Yes.
In cages.
I also want to stress the importance of voting for your local government along as voting for the Senate and the governor. That is very much important too. It is important that we do care about our president and who runs our country, but your local government is really going to be the government that affects you directly the most as it relates to your local laws, public school education, how social services are getting funded. You need to be involved in your local government.
I like that, Bryce.
Your senator decides whether or not what kind of health care you get. You can thank Tom Tillis for Medicare not expanding in North Carolina. You know why? Because the people that vote for him come out faithfully. They're going to be there.
Yeah.
Well, I suggest you show up as well.
So what's the deal with mail-in ballots now? Patrice, do you know?
So the mail-in ballot, what they're trying to do, you could order a mail-in ballot, and as long as you had it postmarked by the date of the election, it was fine. But the Cheeto of 45 is doing is that he's trying to make a law that any vote that is not tallied by the end of the night of the election has to be thrown out. He already got that drunk that he put on the Supreme Court that's agreeing with it, and it's literally saying that if we allow those votes to come in after the election is over, then it's gonna go to the wrong person. That's what he said. Hey, Nikia, but that's what he said.
Hey, Nikia.
It makes you very angry, you know, to know that it's just so much behind it. And I get the frustration from people of like, you know, like Michelle Obama went, you know, she made a video talking about how, you know, she was stressing about how we need to vote, but she was saying she understands too that it's a lot of like misunderstandings that's being told and different things happening behind the scenes, and it frustrates you to the point where it's like, well, dang, I really like, what's the point? If they're gonna keep doing this, or he's gonna keep making these rules and making these new laws and doing what he wants to do with the situation, why do I even need to vote? But still vote. That's the reason why you got to think how politics work, how people try to manipulate you and get in your mind and make you think that you shouldn't be doing the things that you should be doing. Or focusing on certain things. That's why I said you have to properly educate yourself on certain situations, because it's been many times where I did not know who to vote for.
They're good at the misdirection. That's kind of why, you know, Trump has put in many laws while all these different things were happening in the country that he was highlighting. You know, nobody knows that he took environmental protections away from all of the protected land. He's trying to bring oil and coal back, the thing that is destroying not only our environment, but people's water is setting on fire because they're drilling in their homes. Your local government, the reason why Charlotte is being gentrified so heavily is because your city council sold you out. And nobody wants to go and vote or do anything about it, but you want to sit around and complain when your neighborhood gets knocked over and some condos get put up. This is how you combat it. If you don't vote for people that are doing what you want them to do, you become a victim.
I have a question for Little Red Riding Hood. If you were elected president, what's the first thing that you would do?
Oh, if I was elected president, the first thing I would do is that I would get rid of the 13th Amendment.
Do you want to elaborate on the 13th Amendment?
So after quote unquote slavery was abolished, the 13th I'm sorry, that's not funny. The prison industrial complex started taking place heavily in the South. So what they would do is that they would incarcerate black men to go incarcerate them, and while they're incarcerated, they would have them do those same labors that they were doing as they were slaves. So therefore, slavery never really ended. It just took on a whole new phase, and that phase is known as the prison industrial complex, or the pipeline prison industrial complex. How a lot of young African American men have their first arrest when they're at 15, and they spend their whole adulthood from the ages 15 to 35 being in jail, coming out
in
of
adult prison
and being arrested, to keep up with prison labor for one, and then two, to keep the African American community disadvantaged. So the first thing I would do is that I would tackle the 13th Amendment. Another thing I would do if I was president, I would go back to Roe versus Wade, and I would just make abortion a legal thing.
A legal thing, not an illegal thing, right?
Yes, a legal thing across the board.
Yeah.
What Roe versus Wade is that Roe versus Wade left it up to the state to decide if they want to continue to have abortion in the state or not.
and that was a fateful decision.
Yes, and we've seen how that turned out.
Mm-hmm. I love your.
They trying to put motherfuckers in jail for murder.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Jesse, what if you were president?
I would defund the police. Like, if it took all 4 years, if I could do it right away, whatever. But that would be like my biggest focus: defund the police, fund community resources for everyone who needs it, increase economic mobility, generational wealth, equity. Man, I mean, that's all starts with defunding the fucking police.
Yes. There should be no reason why the NYPD has a $2 billion budget.
Why does Charlotte have a fucking tank?
Oh.
Why does any of it exist?
The city is only one big circle. What you need that for?
Right.
You can circle the whole city in 2 hours.
My military friends that have been on special forces and are Green Berets look at the police and say that is out of line. Mm-hmm. They don't even take their oath seriously, because the oath that they have to take in the military is better followed than the oath that they took at the police department. You know why? Because your city council allowed that bullshit to happen. You know why? Because people didn't vote.
Not because they didn't vote.
You wasn't involved in your local governments.
Sean, what would you do?
You said me?
What would you do if you was president?
President Tiana. So for me, that's a very hard question, because I'm such a giving person. And the way that I am and the way that I grew up, like, I would want to go back into a lot of things that I would go help so many children. Like, I love kids. Like, so a lot of my focus would definitely be on kids. And I know that probably sounds selfish, but I just feel like
there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I just feel like they are our future. And if we give them the proper education and give them the utensils and things that they need growing up properly, then, you know, things will probably have a different outlook. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just something about the kids that I just always be looking like they just learn so much so quickly, and they just take like now how I look at these, like my little niece. I look at her, for example. She knows how to read a book. Like, she's not even in school. She's in daycare. She's in daycare reading.
She's supposed to.
Fast learn, and I'm like, I wasn't learning that fast when I was growing up, you know what I mean? But I still was getting the education I needed, but it wasn't that fast. It was like, and they're just progressing and growing so fast, and they're just learning so much, and technology is just getting out of control. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, I would do so much. I would do so much. It would be. I really would. I don't know. I would make crazy decisions. We probably would have no money. We wouldn't have no money.
Don't say that.
I mean,
what would you do if you was president?
Got the money.
Who?
You.
Oh. I'm taking everybody's guns.
Mm-mm.
You get 2 guns per household.
Wait, what?
Girl,
2 guns
you
per
gonna start a
household.
civil war, girl.
Just
Okay?
You gonna start a
There's
civil
no
war.
reason to have a stash of 100 AR-15s in the shed in the fucking backyard.
I agree.
There's no such thing as an armed militia. That shit that somebody came up with that was doing some dumb shit. That's not what that means. That's not what any of that means. I'm not mad at people having done personal protection. What I am mad at is how people take advantage of the system.
It's like the laptop.
You have one state like New York where having guns is illegal, and you get here in jail for every bullet in the gun. Whereas in North Carolina, it's legal to open carry without permit. So anybody can go buy a fucking gun and walk around with it. But then you wonder why so many people get shot. Why would you sell a gun to somebody that's under 21?
I would love to hear what our viewers would do in presidency while we're talking.
Right?
Wow.
What would y'all do if you were president?
I don't want to be president. I want to be Supreme Court Justice. Honestly and truly. I don't.
I just want to have a big enough
Hello?
platform to be able to
I'm
spread.
gonna run AI or the CIA.
What'd you say, Patrice?
I would rather be in charge of the CIA or the FBI,
From the CIA, the FBI.
so we can go stop dispositioning world leaders in countries that are not doing anything but not trying to do what we want them to do. Of fucking people.
Okay.
And it's taking them I ain't so mad about John looking in the mirror. What happened?
It was doing okay at first. Now it started breaking up real bad.
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fucked up. That's why I tried to tell you. I don't even want to. Yeah, carry on. I'm gonna sit here. Crazy. I'm isolation.
Hey baby. Hey baby, we don't understand nothing. Hey baby, we don't understand nothing you're saying. I don't know what you just said. It just gave me very much. It was giving me all of that. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
Jesse, what was your first voting experience? Because my very first voting experience was the 2016 election. Because that was the first time I was like of age to actually go vote.
Mm-hmm. Mine was 2012, but I did an absentee because I was in Australia. So, and I voted for Obama. Yeah, but
Nice. That was the
that was a moment.
Mitt Romney had me a little scared because people was actually rocking with Mitt Romney for the hard way too. He was crazy too. Talking about getting rid of all the birth control and
yeah, I mean it was almost. I mean not as fucked up as where we are, but it. I mean he's pretty messed up. Like
yeah,
we're pretty messed up.
Rashawn, how about you?
What, baby?
What was your first voting experience?
I think when I was because actually when I was able to vote, I didn't vote. The very first time I didn't vote.
Mm-hmm.
However, when Obama, I did vote. That's actually Obama was the first time I voted.
Like his
Huh?
His second term, you voted?
Mm-hmm. That was like my first time. Like I was really able to like really. I was excited. I was like, you know what? Oh baby, my whole family. We all went together.
Mm-hmm.
We stand in line. I'm like, yeah, we already basically know who we voting for. But
Yeah.
that experience is being able to know that with just with a simple my little vote, like I had some part in that. It felt good. I don't know if that's weird for me, but I feel like when you see something that you put your efforts towards, you may have had a horrible day that day, but you still went to the poll, or you may be having to go to work and they might not be able to let you off. You still end up going to the poll. So it's like that first experience in that moment of being able to just do that. It was just like like it was incredible for me. Like I can't even explain it. Like it's just.
Lord.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Child, my school was a victim of gerrymandering. So for those who don't know what gerrymandering is, it's basically when you take a certain part of a city and you divide it up into multiple smaller districts so that way their votes won't be as powerful. Now, I went to North Carolina A&T, and we have the largest student body in the South. So basically, the campus is so big that it could swing, if everybody voted, it could swing the whole state blue, and they knew that. So what they did is that they split our university up into like 4 or 5 different sections. So usually when you're on the college campus, when you register to vote, you use your student PO box. But we couldn't do that. So I had to use my specific dorm room address. So I had to go on Google and look at my dorm room address because it's actually hard to find dorm room addresses. For those who don't know, and I had to register how to vote like that because of gerrymandering. And of course, there were people who were penalized and they got caught for gerrymandering in North Carolina and this and that. But it's still the fact that they even was allowed to do that to make sure that this state wouldn't become a blue state.
Right. John, you talked, like when we started, you were talking about how some of the Black community you're noticing just like doesn't want to vote because they don't think, and this, I think this is also general communities, because they don't think their vote will count.
Right.
And then you said that you did not vote the first time that you were able to. Can we dive into that? Like why, what in your mind kept you from?
At that time of my life, I was easily influenced by what people said. And at that time, with me growing up, I really didn't think my voice was important, and I didn't think my vote was valid. I thought at that time I was thinking the same thing, like it's like some fraud or some crazy stuff going on. No matter what we put, they're gonna pick who they want to pick anyway. After growing up, like I said, when you choose, you have to choose to educate yourself on certain matters. It looks you have a different view on things. And with certain situations that's going on with me right now, in my personal life, I have to rely on certain things, and those things can be taken away. If I don't vote properly, or if I choose not to vote, or if I have my friends around me that choose to say, "Hey, I'm not going to vote," I'm like, well, that affects me in a way when you don't decide to go vote. You know what I mean? I kind of take it personal a little bit now, like so. At that, but when you're young like that, like at that time when I was, like I said, when I was growing up, it wasn't go. I wasn't into politics. It was like I'm out having a good time right now. I don't care about who about to win, who ain't gonna win, because it's not affecting me. My voice ain't gonna be heard, child. Ain't nobody worry about that poll. That's not what I was thinking then, but it definitely changed now.
But now let's take it back to people who have.
I think before you move on, I think that one of the things that got me when I was young, I had voted the first chance that I got to vote. One of the things that got me, the reason why I wanted to vote, why I thought it was important, because a lot of the policies at the time frame did not affect me as a young person. It didn't affect me as a youth, and I didn't make the connection. But what made me really realize, register that I needed to vote is because somebody said to me, "Well, no, it may not affect you, but it's going to affect your grandmother. It's going to affect your grandmother and how she receives, benefits that she's getting or she's receiving." That's how it hit home for me, because no, I never made the connection as a young person on how I'm directly affected by what's going on in the politics, things like that. But when they asked me that question or posed that or made me look at that way about my grandmother being affected, how her benefits can be affected later, and you know, and within my lifetime, what they look like for her. That to me is what hit home. And after that, it's a must that I voted to make sure that I secure, you know, my grandmother and my aunties and my mom and things like that. That's what made it important for me.
Patrice, what is your voting experience like?
I've always paid attention to politics, and so I voted as soon as I turned 18. Well, yeah, as soon as I turned 18. My first voting was the first Clinton administration. And I was so excited, and I could not wait to go, and I was just so giggly. Oddly enough, my parents don't vote because of religious reasons. But I thought it was very important because I understand that as long, like what we have now, as long as people just sit back and let shit happen, that's how we got here. You know what I'm saying? Just being the status quo, like, oh, you know, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. It does fucking matter. We have a president in office who is shitting on this whole country and the Constitution. I mean, like, big, fat diarrhea dump.
That's so accurate.
Woo! That was what
it's not okay.
Yeah.
But people, and it's funny to me when I see other countries like France, when something happened in their politics, like the whole country rioted and that shit got changed. Why is it that we cannot, as a country, do that? They literally have children in cages. They are giving people hysterectomies. Well, they don't know what's happening. They're just stealing uteruses.
Yeah.
There's so much. People's water, Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water. And there are some places that are worse than Flint, Michigan. And that's really what's fucked up. Because that has become the status quo. As long as you don't have what you need,
Patrice, you're lost.
Patrice.
Cause my baby going off.
Yes.
Doing the thing too.
Yeah, we can't, baby. Yeah, it's okay.
I want to point out Regina's comment. There should be new laws that help the elderly and folks living with disabilities. I think the theme that's kind of weaving in and out of this vote and election discussion is that it's bigger than us, right? Like it goes far beyond our personal experiences, and it affects everyone that you care about. And I just wanted to kind of put that up on stage because it seems like everyone is on board.
Hello.
What's up, Johnny? Sorry about the technical difficulties today.
Lord, I was going to say earlier, like, I wanted to talk about the people who have the privilege to waste their vote, because there were so many people who voted for Harambe, and now there's people who are writing in Kanye West on the ballot and doing it just for fun and for kicks and giggles. But it doesn't matter who's going to be president, because at the end of the day, their privilege allows them to continue to live their lives the way it is, and whatever happens, it's not going to affect them in any type of way.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It's just very,
yes,
and it's very disgusting that thing. That's our reality. Me being Black, gay, living in the South in the U.S., this heavily affects my life and how I live. So right. For a person to have that privilege to just waste their vote on some BS and be like, oh, you know, it's whatever, it doesn't matter. And for us to be Black people say we're not going to vote because it's not going to make a difference. Yeah, it's not going to make a difference because you're not voting. There's people out here who are voting for the worst people. People out here voting for celebrities are writing in Ronald McDonald on their freaking ballot, wasting their vote. And you're sitting here complaining about how things are not going to change for you.
Right.
just blows me. I think my frustration comes in at the complaining part where you complaining but you're not doing nothing about it.
Yep.
That's the thing that irritates me. Like I see a lot of complaining but nobody's doing anything. Like that, just because somebody gets on social media and they have a platform and they tell you to go vote or whatever the case may be, and you're like, oh, this is my favorite person and I like them and this, that, and the third. Like at least take the opportune time to say, hey, well, at least I know they did it, so I can go do it too. Like,
and the people talking about like, how they're not gonna vote for Joe Biden because his tax plan is gonna affect people that make more than $400,000 a year. Y'all making? Don't do that.
I'm not making that, so I'm cool with it.
And the people who are complaining about it don't make that either. Some of us, let's be honest, we're never gonna make $400,000 a year in our whole lifetime. So what you sitting here complaining about? Because you think one day, wishing upon a star, you're going to be a multi-millionaire out of the blue? Girl, bye. Go ahead with that.
You can work towards it. I ain't going to tell you not to work towards it, but just saying. It ain't going to happen.
Just saying. Like,
it's a process.
Oh, he going to be taxing people. And how much do you make? Oh, the stock market going to go down. Name the stock market. Name one for me, baby.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, don't play with me. Out here.
I can hear her
nerves. What'd you say, Trees?
Can you hear me now?
I mean, we can hear you, but it's still kind of breaking up a little bit. What's wrong, man?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just trying to be quiet as much as the break.
I gotta say, it's good to see everyone's actual face for a full hour staring at people, because in the office we have a mask on.
I know, right?
And so I actually get to see faces, your faces.
I'm still trying to get used to it. It's a lot.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, Patrice, I can't really see your face. I would love to be able
It is different.
She gonna say it is different.
That kind of, Bryce, you talked about the privilege.
Yeah, I think I got too many colors. That's why the camera can't pick up. Maybe. Say what, Jesse?
Bryce was talking, he made a really good point about people who don't vote have that privilege to sit in a space where they're unaffected by the bullshit that's going on politically. And that, just speaking of masks, it makes me think of people who don't wear a mask to protect other people because they have the privilege to do that. And
I saw a guy at the mall the other day with no mask on, and his son looking at us like we crazy. We was looking at him like he was crazy. Like, where your mask at, baby?
Yeah.
So what you doing?
So that's another whole conversation within itself with the whole COVID thing. But it just goes to show that you got people that really believe everything they hear and don't take certain things serious.
Right.
It takes a soft ass. Okay?
Yeah.
For you to learn a situation sometimes, and something deadly happens, something really strange happens, somebody in the family gets sick, something, and then that's when you want to start taking it serious then.
Right.
I just...
Yeah. And it shouldn't have to take...
Let me tell you something. I'm guilty of being out in public and not wearing... When I'm on the mic, if I'm hosting and I'm emceeing, I cannot MC and host at an event through a freaking mask. So I try to stay social distancing while I'm on the mic and stay at least behind the DJ booth away from people so that I can do my thing. But I'm just being honest.
Right.
Call the kettle back.
I think with anything in life, it shouldn't have to take for you to be personally affected to like stand up and help. Right? Or like follow the rules so that you protect other people.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's sad because you constantly get disappointed in people's beliefs that they're actually going to do the right thing. Like you just hope that people are actually going to do the right thing, and then they don't. It's just like, why is it so hard for you not to be an asshole? Like, why can't you just wear your mask? Or even there are people who wear their mask and have gloves and they still don't social distance. Like you're in a store and they're telling you where to stand and you still breathing down my neck. Like back up. Like,
I tell them to get the fuck away. What are you doing?
breathing down my neck like, baby, back up. I was at Food Line the other day, and I looked at the man up and down. He looked at me. I looked at him like, back up.
Like,
Yeah,
hey,
you
baby,
got your
that's
mask
not
and your
6
gloves
feet.
on, but I'm gonna need you to back up. Like,
right.
You know, I say something real slick and cute at the same time. Hey, baby, you in my business, and you don't know what 6 feet obviously is. So I'm gonna need you to just go ahead and move a little bit. Go that way. I'm gonna go this way.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to back
I
up.
was in the grocery store.
Well, hey there, Johnny.
I was in the grocery store the other day.
It's the laptop for me.
We can't, Patrice. We can't hear nothing you saying, baby.
It's the laptop for me.
We can't hear you.
I
It's
know.
breaking up.
It just be going to.
I don't know why it's so funny.
The wind messed up their internet over there inside that area.
Yeah.
So her internet is real choppy. Going back to what you guys are talking about as far as the voting and people not voting, I think one thing too that people don't realize is that when we electing our senates for our states, our House of Representatives for our states and things like that,
City mayor.
all of that is also important because I think what people don't understand, and it's hard to kind of get people to understand is what the electoral what the electoral college is and what they consist of, and how and how that represents. So while we vote, can you hear? Huh? What happened?
Go ahead.
So when we are electing our senates, when we're electing our House representatives, we're electing our congressmen, our mayors, and all that stuff like that. When we're electing those people, all of that is very important, and it also impacts who comes in and who's elected for the presidency as well. So like you can't skip out on the voting for your Senate for your state. You cannot skip out on the voting for your mayor. You can't skip out on the voting for your governor. You can't skip out on that stuff because all of that is just as important. Is for the person that's representing your state as it relates to the electoral college. So yes, vote today, but don't neglect or don't forget to vote next 2 years when it's time to re-elect your senates and your governors and things like that. All of that is also as equally as important as the presidency.
That's what Bryce was stressing earlier and saying earlier too. Basically, like he said.
I missed that. I apologize.
No, you good. You good. He was basically saying that earlier too. But yeah, that is. I agree with you. That is. I didn't honestly. This time around, I did think of that, but before it wasn't. It was more so just the prejudice. I wanted to know who it was. I was worried about the president part. I wasn't worried about not realizing that it's a chain reaction. Like you got to vote for this too to make sure that this is also working correctly because you never know who in line with each other. So I definitely agree with you both. Am my power about to flick on enough?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Lovely.
Yay!
No, it did it again.
No.
It did. It do good for a second and it go away.
Do we still have folks watching?
I believe. Let me see here.
Yes. At the top.
I don't think I can see that, but I'm curious.
I don't
if
think
we
they can see that.
I'm curious if we have Halloween celebrators, what people are going to be. Like, I want to know what Nakia is going to wear to work, dress up wise tomorrow.
I don't know. I was thinking it's going to be cheesy for me to wear the same thing to work tomorrow, but I don't really have anything appropriate. So I don't know yet.
I've got stilettos. You can put those on. And
you got stilettos?
I've got 2 pairs.
Are they open toe?
No.
Good.
Oh shit.
My feet will just be sliding away.
No, they're like black leather. Very young. They're so hard to walk in though.
Did y'all go over the celebration of Halloween?
A little bit.
We talked about our experience growing up by Halloween, how some of us didn't celebrate, some of us did. what our costumes, the reason why we chose our costumes tonight. What else, you guys? Am I missing something?
You don't have to go through all of that because I just wanted to say that as a kid, my mother we used to have to sneak to celebrate Halloween because my grandmother is a minister.
Oh yeah, see.
Oh,
Halloween
Lord.
was of the devil, and she
poor baby.
and she went for it. And so,
y'all poor baby.
Like, if
Johnny,
it wasn't
Johnny, what did
like,
they
if
used
it
to
wasn't
call it in church?
if it wasn't the trick,
what they used to call it in church on Halloween?
it was called. I can't. I was finna say it, but because you asked it,
I'm sorry.
I forgot it.
I'm gonna Google it.
Gosh, I do not remember what they used to call it.
Halloween
Hallelujah night.
No, it was something else.
We had Hallelujah night, and it was another one.
Apparently, it's a sin to celebrate Halloween. Is what Google's telling me.
Basically.
It's a sin.
I had.
What if you are there?
Halloween parties, 4 different costumes in one night, fighting your cousins over candy, going to different houses and everything. Lord,
I remember there was one year when I was a kid, that there was like the news had caught people putting stuff in candy. So people had to throw their candy out because they was putting stuff in candy for kids, like the weirdos doing stupid shit for no reason.
Right. Wasn't there like a razor blade thing?
And the apples.
Yes. I remember that too. Yep.
Yay.
Just why?
Regina said she's gonna be herself, sexy me for Halloween. I love that.
Yes.
That's the best costume ever.
I'm sitting here trying to think of that name, y'all. It's something that used to be. If you're in the comments and you used to go to church on Halloween, what is the name of it? They had a name for it on Halloween. We used to call it. It was a name for it. It was like a lock-in. You was at church and you did not go. You didn't wear no costumes or nothing. You had church service. And no shade. Like I said at the beginning when Jesse laughed at me, I said they gave candy. I don't know why they gave candy in church, but you couldn't go trick or treat. I don't know.
I'm Googling this, but I'm getting some like seriously bizarre things about church and Halloween.
I don't know. Like every other holiday has a weird beginning and connotation. I just don't know why the church is so against Halloween. Because Thanksgiving is not really doesn't have a good start either. So
Ooh, but All Hallows?
Huh?
Is it something like All Hallows Eve? Hallows Eve?
No. No, that's a pagan holiday. That represents the actual Halloween. That's the pagan version.
I have no religious background, so this space is not my space. But it's so interesting.
You know, as an adult, I'm just like in scary movies because when I was younger, I used to love Halloween, but I hated everything scary. So I'm just not at the point where I'm like watching scary movies and allowing myself to be scared. But ghosts and stuff don't scare me. Like Saw and The Purge scare me because those things can actually happen in real life. You get what I'm saying?
Those are the
like that scares me because I'm like, wow, there's people out there that's crazy enough to really like want to do this, and I'm
you can tell Bryson never had a paranormal activity and it's happened to him. Because
no, I have paranormal activities.
It's very much real.
I have paranormal activities, but I feel like those. I don't know. Okay, yeah.
I believe in that.
My father used to rent this house way out in Long Island. It was real old, real rinkety, but it's what he was renting. So, like, the old man that lived next door, he used to be like, why y'all living in that house? Like, get out that house, get out that house. And me and my stepsister look at each other like, what are you talking about? Like, la, 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 la. Like, what are you talking about? But apparently somebody in there died or something. And every now and then, like real late at night, when it's like dead quiet, like a pin drop quiet, you would hear a noise like it sounded like a woman was crying. But when I was a child, I used to be like, oh, my mom playing tricks on me, this and then and that. But that was my really only paranormal experience. Another paranormal experience I had was my father built a new house, but his house is built on Native American burial ground. So there used to be Native Americans buried there, but when they was excavating the yard, they dug all them up. So every now and then, when it's like a pin drop quiet, stuff will move in the house. and then on top of that, you would hear what sound like chanting in the backyard. And if you stood on the porch in the backyard, you would hear like what sound like it was chanting. But I was just like, oh girl, maybe it's just the TV.
I still believe in all of it. I believe in ghosts and energies and everything.
Lord.
Yeah. I believe in red dirt. I put red dirt around my house. I put red dirt in all my entrances and exits of my house.
Wait, what?
I believe in Florida water. I put Florida water in my car, but every time I don't put Florida water in my car, I get in an accident. I did not put Florida water in my Hyundai and a tree fell on it. I did not put Florida water in my Nissan and somebody hit it, but every other car I put Florida water in, nothing happened.
You said Florida water?
Mm-hmm. It's
What's
called
that?
Florida water.
What is that?
So it comes in
and
a
what's
bottle.
red dirt? You guys need to
Yeah,
it comes in a bottle. It's basically like
Patrice looking the same way. Like what?
It smells good. It's like cologne, but whenever you use it, you're supposed to use it for good intentions. What my grandmother said. So my grandmother was like, "Put Florida water in your car because it's for protection, so like you won't get into accidents and stuff like that." And at first, I was like, "Girl, whatever." But now I got my 2 new cars. I did not put Florida water in at all. I got into accidents. So.
Interesting. And then Johnny, what's this red dirt?
So red dirt and salt blocks out evil spirits. So evil spirits cannot. So evil spirits cannot cross over salt and red dirt. You block off your so you put it on I put it on my property line and make my property line make a red dirt on my property line. But for extra protection, I also put it around my front door, my back door, and my windows. And spirits cannot cross over the salt and the red dirt.
Yeah. My grandma also used to have an altar. She would burn white candles for protection. That's why I got the candle tatted on me. But she used to burn, she used to go to the spiritual store and get white candles all the time. And she would burn white candles for protection. I was like, girl.
What the fuck?
Bryce, we have matching candle tattoos.
We do have matching candle tattoos.
And now mine has even more meaning. I love
that. We're kindred spirits.
Yeah.
I guess the more that Bryce get tattoos, the more he's gonna be like your arm. And because as I'm looking at Bryce's arm, I'm like, why did this look so? Why? It's just doodles and stuff, extra pictures and stuff.
Right.
Because
random stuff.
I would rather get small tattoos that mean more to me to get one big piece, because I feel like I would regret one piece more than.
Yeah, but did you ask God before you tattooed your body?
No, I didn't.
See,
y'all, it is 7:30. Johnny, do you want to share with the world what the new format is going to be going forward? What to look forward to?
No, but okay.
Or someone.
Just know that we got some new hot things coming for you guys. Just know that.
Just know. Goodie gifts and fun things.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna be changing up some things. As we move towards an actual podcast form, we're going to be changing up the way we do things, how we communicate, and adding some segments to kind of keep us together, aligned, and making it hot and make it fresh.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we are, talking about what's happening currently, right? And discuss that. We want to make sure that we have a time where you can guys have a advice column, and we have like an advice section or segment where we can talk about just that. So be looking out for those changes in the next couple of weeks, actually, and start writing in your advice. So if you have a question that you want to get answered, a problem in your life as it relates to sexual health, or anything sexually, write it in. Send us a message. And the good thing about it is if you write it in and send us a message inside of our private emails, it can be anonymous, right? So we won't have to say your name.
Yeah, send us some raindrops.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I like that. Raindrops.
Yeah.
We don't have to say a name. We don't have to reference you as you. Just know when your segment comes up, make sure that when the segment comes up, make sure that you watch so that we can get your question answered and you actually hear it.
And specifically, if you're looking for pop culture coverage, we've got Listen Up with Sean.
Listen up with your voice.
And then we're going to have Peace with Patrice.
Come on.
I'm not here. I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's really cute. Oh, bye, Johnny.
Got peace with.
And then we're going to have Hot Health with myself. And so if you have any fitness or nutrition questions, you can write in.
Mm-hmm.
Tickets to the gun show.
And I will read your anonymous scandalous raindrops, please.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this what this wraps up for the night for us, I guess.
Yes, it sure does.
Oh my goodness.
Have a happy and safe Halloween. Make sure you go vote. November 3rd is the last day. Please go vote. Your vote is important. It counts. Do not let anybody discourage you. Voting does affect your life. If you are an American citizen living your life as an American girl, what people vote for and what laws are being made will affect you and impact you, especially if you're a minority living in this country.
Indeed.
Please go vote.
Please.
I'm begging for you to please go vote. Please. Because on November 3rd, if you talking about something you're not going to vote, if it's a bad aftermath, I'm fighting you.
We pulling up.
I'm not even going to step on the brakes. I'm setting in my car, I'm parking, I'm jumping out, and we're going to fight.
That's it. No words. You didn't vote, so you don't got nothing to say.
That's
oh my
here.
God, y'all, I'm having fun with y'all. I don't know.
We're doing it, yeah, we'll still be on Facebook.
Yes, we're still going to be on Facebook. We're still going to be here on the Book of Faces.
The Book of the Faces, or the Faces of the Books.
Everyone tell your friends that we have paid research. Reach out.
Please. Come get this money. You already know.
Mm-hmm.
If you are like literally at home and not doing anything, or if you have extra time in your day, 45 to 30 minutes at least can you give me that? Like, I need some of y'all to just reach out and do this research. If you're on PrEP, if you're not taking PrEP, if you're HIV positive, if you're HIV negative, it's research, it's compensation for this, y'all. It's free money. I've seen the prices of it myself, and y'all better be glad I can't participate because I work here. But if I could, I would definitely be.
I'll be running right up. I'll be running right up.
Come on now. And it's simple. It's like simple questions. You know, just getting feedback from you, just to hear from you. You getting paid to give some advice, your own advice or your own opinion on something. Like, where they do that at? Come on now. Stop playing. Let's do it.
Love you.
Is Patrice still on?
I don't think so. Thanks for listening, everyone.
I know. Thank
Good
you.
to see your face. Finally.
I know, right?
A full 60 minutes of just staring at you. Love it. Okay, bye.